Welcome to the Taco Cast. I'm Crystal,
I'm Will.
and you're our audience on this. Well, I don't know where you are today. It's not really a lovely Sunday, but hopefully it's lovely where you are.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's raining like cats and dogs here.
today. Yeah, it's the last couple of days. I left my windows down in my car again. second time in a row.
There was so much water that came in. I was watching the water running out of the side of the seats.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun.
It's going to take it some time to dry up.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it didn't damage any electronics because you have power windows, locks, and all that other stuff that's on the control panel on your door.
I had power windows and
Yeah,
locks.
you did.
Whether or not I still have them remains to be seen.
The pocket in the door was full. Absolutely full of water. Because all those receipts and stuff that you had stored in there, they plugged up the drain hole that's on the bottom. So I reached in there, grabbed all the receipts and pulled them up, and then started draining out under the ground. That's how much water was in there. Like I told you, it started raining again this morning at about 3 a.m. when I got up. All right. Well, I think we have a topic today.
We have a topic today. Today's video is going to be a little bit short because I have the emotional range of cucumber.
And the attention span of one as well.
No, I have the attention span of a gnat.
Oh, okay. Well, if you want to exaggerate, I guess go ahead.
Yeah. What? What are we doing? Yeah, so my approach to heavy interpersonal topics is I will deliver the information and then I will bail because,
Well, nice to see you. Goodbye.
Bye, guys. Have a great day. Yeah, it's kind of like when I had to discuss with my dad about his.
You ever notice you say a lot?
What?
Yeah.
What?
You do.
When I had to discuss with my dad, well, I guess I didn't have to discuss with him, but I felt like I needed to discuss it with him. Will, what's up?
I'm having a lovely Sunday. Pain right now for me in my knee is very limited. As long as I don't move. Otherwise, I have a jolting, shooting pain up the outside of my leg. Well, inside, but kneecap area. But besides that, I'm doing okay. Feeling the pain medication pretty good right now. So, well, you had a topic or something, didn't you?
Yes.
Oh, you just don't want me to count the odds.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Tell people what we're here for today.
Anyways, as I was giving
Do we really ever have a mission or a point?
Sometimes. As I was giving a little bit of background beforehand, when I decided, because of events that had happened with friends and family in our lives, discussing end-of-life plans with my father, whether or not he had a will set up, what he wanted done with his estate. Just one moment. This tea is so hot.
Don't hurt the beautiful face. It's how I make money.
Oh, I'm not going to throw it on the face. It was not an I can't believe he's like this right now. Oh my gosh, I'm going to have to throw tea on him, and it's going to hurt a lot. He's going to be sad. I might
take the pain away from my knee.
That's true. So, my delivery of that conversation with my father was, hey, Dad, you have a will, right? You got everything written down about what you want done in case something happens to you? Awesome. Love you. Bye. Click. Like,
you called him to ask him if he has like a living will?
Mm-hmm.
Living trust or anything?
Yep.
And?
He does.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
so the point
being, why did you all of a sudden call him? What brought that on?
We had a couple of friends of ours, if you remember correctly, who had passed away. One
no, I forgot.
One of who had become very ill, and another friend of ours had asked if I would be willing to be their Wow, the word is
Godparent?
completely gone. No,
Um,
medical
head-
power of attorney.
oh,
Medical power of attorney.
yeah. Who asked you that? That was just a silly thing to do.
Well,
'Cause you will do everything to save the individual. We can rebuild him, make him into the $3 million man.
well, that's true. If somebody has expressed that they don't want that done, I would adhere to their wishes, which is probably why they asked, because they knew that I would. Anyways, we'd had a lot of tough things happen, a lot of hard conversations, and while I know those conversations need to happen, I don't like contemplating people's mortality and whatnot. So I'm just like, is it done? Goodbye. Click.
I think a lot of people right now here in America are having or should have the same conversation, especially about end of life care. What do you really want, to happen? What can you afford? What is not going to bankrupt the family? Do you have life insurance? Where what are your wishes for burial? Do you want to be cremated? What would you like to see happen? I mean, a lot of people are picking cremation now, not only for the cost, but it guarantees they don't come back in case of a zombie apocalypse.
Always forward thinking.
You have to think about the zombie apocalypse, ladies and gentlemen.
Speaking of which, small plug for the Neptune Society for those who are making end of life decisions. Did we already plug the Neptune Society in an earlier episode, or are you talking about us?
No, us. Yeah. Us in general. I mean,
yeah. Neptune Society will do cremation at a cost, and if you live in the U.S., I don't know about elsewhere, but significantly cheaper than any place in the United States. And if you are a card holder for the Neptune Society and you pass away and you are outside of your home country, they will pick you up and deliver your remains to your home country.
Weekend at Bernie's kind of thing, right?
Yeah. Actually, I believe they have you cremated and then they return you to your home country.
Oh, okay.
Or it might vary depending on various
We'll put a link to the Neptune Society for everybody out there that that wish to have this conversation with their loved ones, or even if you're alone, to look into it. I know a couple people who are power of attorneys right now for their significant other, and that's got to be extraordinarily tough because you're the only one to have to make the decisions. And regardless of whatever you do, people are going to second judge themselves. Did I make the right decision? What if I would have done this? What if I would have done that? And it's that's natural. Everybody goes through that, and that series of emotions.
Yeah.
I've been through this twice with family members where I was the primary care provider for them, and I looked over their medical power of attorney and everything else, and I took on the role of everything from the time of diagnosis all the way to burial, and it's not fun. It's not easy. There's always going to be a million people out there who are going to come out of the woodwork who hadn't seen that loved one of yours in 6, 10, 25, 30, 55 years, whatever it might be, who are going to second guess you. And they're going to want to know, why did they do this? Why didn't they do that? Why didn't they take massive doses of vitamin D, C, and E? Why didn't they, fly, across the country to extend life for another 6 months? And it's really difficult.
And we can help make these situations easier for the people that we leave behind, or the people who are taking care of us while we're incapacitated.
A living will, it does so much because it puts in writing exactly what you want done. So in case anybody, decides, hey, you know what, I don't really like what would happen, you can just go down to Kinko's and run off 500 copies of it and throw them out the window of your house into your front yard and say, fucking read it yourself.
Yeah, there's probably, but yes.
I've been there. I mean, I've been there to the point where family members came in and started putting stickers on items after my father died, laying claim to items that weren't theirs. They had no right to. They just decided, well, if this is going to be given away, or if it's going to be distributed out, I want it. I deserve this because I did this for him, or I did that for him. And it's just like, are you effing kidding me? We're still alive, right? We're sitting right here. Hello.
Yeah, but it's whenever there's a tragedy, it seems like no matter how well adjusted your family is, there's going to be some drama.
Oh yeah.
Which
Yeah.
is sad because it's oftentimes the hardest thing that your family is going to have to go through, especially when the family member who's passed or is very ill is, maybe the fulcrum upon which the family turns.
We probably should have had this conversation right when COVID was coming out.
Yes,
We should have had this conversation
apologize
then
for
with
not
everybody.
for waiting.
But we didn't.
Yeah, there's
So,
several states that are.
if you want to get in your time machine and watch this episode and get in your time machine and fly back to when you may have had to have dealt with these things, go right ahead. Probably about a half hour for total for this episode, and then fly back. But just make sure there's no flies in there or anything.
Yeah, you don't want to.
Yeah, you don't want to turn into the fly. That's a
dork.
I hope I don't know if anybody else is going to get that reference, but us.
Jeff Goldblum. Amazing.
Yeah. But so I mean, end of life, decisions. So what would you say would be more important, end of life decisions or medical decisions? A medical power of attorney, or
honestly,
what is it? What's the other one called? Where you give the hospital or doctor permission to do something,
permission
or not.
A DNR.
DNR, that's what it is.
Do not resuscitate.
That's why we have the medical,
And
staff
there's a lot of levels to that. You can make one as detailed as you want. You will take this. You won't take this. You'll take this under these circumstances. It can be just as detailed as you want. You can revive me if X, Y, and Z happen, but if ABC happen, you can't. And it really allows you to retain control over your healthcare at a time that you might not be able to make your healthcare decisions. It is uncomfortable to think about. We don't want to think about times when we would be incapacitated and not able to take care of it ourselves and at the mercy of others. But creating a document like that, making sure that your primary care physician has it, whomever you've designated to take care of your decisions in the event that something like that happens, your hospital in your area, keep a copy on you, make sure that there are copies of it out there so that your wishes will be adhered to.
Don't just make it and lock it away in your safety deposit box in the bank. And I know of somebody who actually did that, and it wasn't until after he was long gone that his wife finally got into the safety deposit box, and she found his papers, and it was heartbreaking to her to find out that she had extended his life out for probably a good year, just through medical and everything else. And he didn't want that. That was not anything that he ever desired. But they never had that conversation together. He kind of made it known that he didn't want to be a vegetable, in a vegetated state, but he never really, vocalized it to her. But he went to his attorney, and he, said, I want this, and this, but I don't want any of this. And she had extended his life out for a couple more years, and it didn't make it any easier 2 years later after he got, seriously ill and was unable to care for himself anymore. But go ahead. What you were saying about the medical.
Yeah, make sure that people have a copy of it. People who need to have a copy of it. Your hospital, your primary care provider, and like I said, keep a copy on you, especially if you travel.
Travel.
And it's
You take it with you?
Yeah.
If you travel?
Yes.
Do you take a copy of it with you when you travel?
I don't go anywhere except for the Fred Meyer.
You drive to your friend's house? Do you have a copy in the glove box?
Okay. By travel, I meant if you go out of the country.
Well, because you don't travel out of the state that you live in.
Not if I can
But
help
they
it.
say,
I don't travel out of the
most
city
accidents
if I can help
happen within 3 miles of your own home.
That is a misleading statistic.
Oh.
Most accidents happen.
Well, I keep on repeating it, so it has to be true. So don't tell anybody any differently.
Most accidents happen within 3 miles of your home because most people are traveling within 3 miles of their home.
Yeah.
It's not that accidents are more likely
Oh, so
to
you're
happen.
looking at a bigger
Global
picture.
statistic,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, no, it still happens within 3 miles of your home. I'm right.
The ratio of accidents does not actually increase.
Because if you think about it, I mean, in a given week, how far do we actually travel? About 3 miles.
And that's precisely, it's like the other statistic. Most accidents,
maybe 6 if we go to my sister's house.
the statistic that most accidents happen in the home. Well, that's because most people spend all of their time in their home.
And a lot more now.
If you
But with this COVID and everybody, working from home, wow, there's been a lot of accidents at home.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So, so DNR,
Mhm.
do not resuscitate order.
Living will.
Living will.
Yeah.
What's the other one?
Well, your end of life plans. How do you want?
How do you avoid probate court? What do they call that?
Well, in a lot of places you won't. Your estate will automatically go into probate court.
Screw the state.
Yes. But
Liquefy everything the moment you get a cough.
oh my.
And live cash only and slowly siphon it off to your kids, under the table. Make sure that it's under $10,000 in increments and tell them to deposit it in several different accounts slowly.
Man, we're talking what to do if you're gonna die, not how to.
Screw the government. I mean, they tax you when you work. They tax you, when you bring it home. They tax you when for your estate. They tax you for everything. Screw them. I've been taxed enough on my money. I would like to keep my dollar.
Now, to be fair, most estate taxes are never going to are never going to touch the average estate.
Well, they're never going to touch mine because I'm going to liquefy it all. And I'm going to hand it out before I ever, I get that cough. I'm handing it all out.
If you have specific wishes for how you want your body to be handled,
I'm leaving money to my cat.
You don't have a cat.
Bogey.
Bogey's Elizabeth's cat.
It's my cat.
No, he's Elizabeth's cat.
Okay.
No, he's your cat. He's officially Elizabeth's cat, but we all know he's your cat.
He's just like me. But I'm leaving money to him.
Okay.
I'm gonna leave him enough. I'm gonna make sure that every day for the rest of his little kitty cat life, that he eats the best. And he has a giant home like this in case he wants to stop by and see it.
Once every 3 weeks. But yeah, if you have specific requests, make sure you've got those written down. And same thing, make sure that the person.
Hey, look, somebody forgot to turn off their phone.
Make sure the person you've designated to handle your estate after you've passed has a copy. Your lawyer has a copy. Again, carry a copy with you. Especially if you have really specific requests, like you want to be cremated and have your ashes turned into jewels, which will be set into a crown that your ancestors will then have to wear on the anniversary of your birth every year, to get a portion of your estate. You have to make sure that you lay that out.
Huh. Is that what's in yours?
Yeah.
Everybody has to wear a tiara on your birthday.
Yeah, with me in it. It's a really
Well,
classic
when my sister passed, they put some of her ashes into necklace charms for all the other sisters and for her daughters.
We did that with grandfather. Sprinkled some of his ashes on his parents' grave.
Yeah, there's laws against that.
Oh, I didn't know.
I know, right?
We absolutely didn't do it under the cover of night.
No. Yeah, I'm not joking. They actually, there are, and a lot of states have laws on distributing of human remains, ashes. And there's a pretty hefty fines depending upon your locality, in the United States for doing so.
Well,
even if you go into, like when my friend's dad died, we went up into a national forest and spread his ashes in the area where he elk hunted every year because he loved that area so much. He didn't own any property there because it's a national forest. But we did it, and we got warned by the actual the wildlife department that they could fine us up to $5,000 each for doing it. And we're like, oh, okay. Well, we won't do it again. We're already done.
Oh no, I tripped.
Well, we were already done, but they were like, we can find you all $5,000 a piece. You have $5,000 times 6 guys. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
But
Cha-ching.
yeah, well, just see if it's the government for you though. How can I get your dollar out of your pocket and
I
make you feel good about me taking your dollar?
think it's actually more about other stuff, such as you don't necessarily want to be spreading cremains around everywhere because
Did you know that it's totally illegal to bury someone in your backyard? If you have any kind of backyard at all, it is completely legal in all. Well, it's legal in every state except for Hawaii. You can bury someone on your own property, but there are jurisdictional rules for different cities and localities because you have to bury them so far away from power lines or from water or other things, and you have to leave a trust account set up for the lifetime care of that grave. And every time, if you try to sell the home, you have to tell someone, hey, by the way, I buried Uncle Bob out back.
my life is not made better for having known that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not
Totally legal.
I don't
For the longest time, before cemeteries were, really a big thing, that's where people buried each other. They buried each other, next to the church or at home or somewhere along
So
those
part
lines.
of why this is horrifying for me is that my kids are diggers. I was a digger. My kids are diggers. The last thing I need is the kids unearthed someone's dead cat at the last house we lived in.
Yeah.
They were like 7 or 8. They were super excited. They thought they found a dinosaur. So they come bringing this cat jaw to me, and they're like, "Oh, we found a dinosaur!" My mom and I are on the porch. We're looking at it. We're like, "Oh God." And I looking at it, and I look at my mom, and we do one of these things together. We're like, "Yeah, you did, honey. You certainly did find a dinosaur. That's a super nice day. Where did you find the dinosaur, babe? Yeah, okay." And my mom and I are like, "That's a cat. How many animals are on this property that are dead? So please don't. I can't. My freaking 8-year-old."
Well, you have to mark them. It's not like you bury them, on your property, and don't mark them.
My kid's all bringing me a femur. Mom, look what I found.
Well, I mean, my grandparents, both my great great grandmother and my great grandfather, when they died, we had the funerals at home, in the living room, of their actual home, and the parlor. I guess you call it not a living room; it's a parlor. I never understood the difference between formal rooms and dining rooms and second living room or whatever.
From what I understand,
These giant Victorian homes, they have a living room, they have a parlor, they have all these different stupid names for different rooms.
So a living room is the place where you hang out with your family and your friends and you have fun, and your parlor is where you take people you don't like. You don't want them further in your house. So you're
Well,
just
my
like,
grandmother-
step into my parlor.
That's kind of like my grandmother's place. My great grandmother's house was. The parlor area had the most uncomfortable furniture to ever sit on and be around, and like the living room was like, well, it had plastic on everything. But
You
it's
had
a lot
one of
more
those
comfortable.
grandmas.
Oh, great grandmother, yeah, yeah, that hard, plastic that crinkled when you sat on it. Yeah,
And sometimes you don't.
And she had like these covers that went over the top of it. It didn't help because if you sat on it,
Right, you just slip right the fuck up.
So it was kind of another way to get you the hell out of the house. But we had the funerals right there at home, as opposed to a funeral parlor, and they're buried right there on the property, and we don't own that property anymore, and they're buried there. But the people we know, it's like a small community. I mean, they're probably 300 people, 400 people who live there total. I mean, they know our family. We've known them forever. They own the house and the land. But if we ever want to go see them, we have to. They're not going to stop us from going out to visit their grave because there's a family, a little plot out back on. Well, it's about probably 100 yards from the house. From where the doorway is, out towards where it is. But I mean, there's a lot of relatives who are buried there, and that's just what we did. You die in the big city, you're lucky if you're anything more than just a number. They don't care. And when it comes to I know there's people out there who really do care, who have studied the mortuary sciences and everything else. But that's a huge hang up for a lot of people, is death in itself. It's kind of not really a taboo, but it's something that a lot of people don't like to talk about. They don't like to even address.
I absolutely 100% don't. Not because I don't. Not because I want to shy away from the concept of death and dying, and impermanence and all of that normally drives people, but typically when those conversations come up, it's about somebody I love, and I just don't want discussing their end-of-life plans with them means planning for a world that they're not going to be in, and that's what bothers me.
Ignoring it isn't going to help.
Avoidance is my coping mechanism of choice.
Just keep on ignoring it and hope that it goes away.
Absolutely. Anyways.
So I'm going to sit in a morgue somewhere for a couple of decades, huh?
Husband? What husband? I don't have a husband. He's out shopping. He'll be back later.
Yeah, maybe he's out golfing or something. I don't know what happened to him. Because I don't want to sit in a morgue for a couple of decades while you come to terms with it.
Hey, don't feel bad, honey. After like a week, they're going to go ahead and plant you anyways.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, put me in a pauper's grave?
Mm-hmm. And this is why you need to make those decisions beforehand, so everything is clearly delineated. But
but how are they going to know that I have it?
First look, carry it with you.
What if I don't have it on me?
Or just get a tattoo. This corpse belongs to Crystal.
What happens if this Friday, when I die?
Well, hold on. Let's roll back. What?
Well, I'm having major surgery on Friday, and I could die from the anesthesia.
You've had major surgery before, and you've had anesthesia before. You do not have a history of reactions to this anesthesia.
Maybe the anesthesiologist this time screws up.
Maybe he does.
And I die.
Cha-ching, man. We'll cash in.
Wow. Got your eye on a couple 25-year-olds? Trade me in for two?
Kidding? I can't even handle one husband. Two husbands?
Wow.
Ugh.
Couple of beefcakes, you never know. Might make you think differently.
No, absolutely not.
One to cook, one to to take care of everything else for you.
No.
That's
the kind of frustration I do not need in my life.
All right.
I don't understand how people have multiple partners. That's so much stress.
Well, see, first off, you have to care. If you're a narcissist and a psychopath, I guess you really don't care how many partners you have.
It was a very
more than enough love to go around.
I only have enough love for you.
Man, you might want to get some more. So, all right, but another thing along that lines, though. So the DNR, the end of life care, and everything else. Bob wanted to bring up one that's important to me.
Okay.
That comes before all that.
Before all that.
All
right.
Sign up to be an organ donor.
Absolutely.
Now, I would have had knee surgery 2 weeks ago if it wasn't for the fact that not enough of you people out there are donating your bodies to science or deciding to become an organ donor.
You hear this guy?
I said want to talk about something that matters to me.
Yeah.
I'm waiting on a ligament from a corpse, a cadaver.
And something that you can do that you don't even have to be dead to help out with is signing up to be a bone marrow donor.
Ooh, that one too. Yeah, you can do that too.
Mm-hmm.
But again, we're talking about me.
What if you have leukemia later on? You'll need a bone marrow donor.
I don't plan on getting leukemia.
Nobody plans on getting leukemia.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, do they?
You can never say there's nobody.
Okay. There might be one person.
There is some hypochondriac out there who is convinced right now that they have leukemia and lupus and everything else.
That must be awful for the hypochondriac when they're finally right.
No, they just go, I told you so. That is the fourth largest epithet that is put on tombstones. I told you I was sick. That's the fourth largest.
I think what a lot of the problem comes.
I was just looking into epithets for headstones, It had nothing to do with me. But
And yet he says he's going to die on Friday.
There are different, when it comes to funeral homes, most of the entire business is controlled by major large companies.
I think there's like three. Like there's three families that own almost
I don't know.
every
I don't know
funeral
if it's
home.
families or anything like that. Don't take her information as being correct. It might be, but don't believe it anyways. I don't believe her.
Where are the cameras at?
There, and there. Yeah. So any way you want to punch me, it's going to show up on camera somewhere. And I'm just going to put it on loop for a rewind.
Anyways.
But it's important though. I mean, you could save a life, you know, if you're an organ donor, and look at it this way. There's nothing in the Bible that says you can't go to heaven if you are an organ donor. Okay, but you can save a life. You can make the quality of life for somebody else like me a whole lot better. And so, yeah, I need it. So they've already acquired mine. So don't go out there and die tomorrow and thinking you're going to help me. But they already have my cadaver ligament arrived yesterday, which is a whole other series. They won't tell me where it came from.
No,
they won't give me any information about it.
No, they.
I was kind of hoping, maybe I could get like the ligaments, of like, some like, NFL, like, kicker or something, so I can make money with this new robotic.
That is not how organ transplant works. What the hell?
You don't know that.
I do.
I've seen the $3 Million Man.
It was bionics.
And I've seen the Bionic Woman.
That's not okay. Mm.
And my warranty expired, but you know what? Do I get a warranty with the new knee?
No.
Oh,
sorry.
Not even like implied.
Mm.
Nothing. Jeez.
No.
Well, that kind of sucks.
Yeah.
I'm going to go through all this pain and work and everything else.
And if it doesn't work and you have to do it again, you have to pay again.
Really?
Yeah. There's no replacement.
You can't factory recalls.
Mm-mm.
Nothing.
No.
But if I use talcum powder, I can sue the crap out of a whole bunch of people, apparently.
Yes. That's because they knew that their talcum powder was causing illness, and they opted not to say anything to their customer base. Which is actually where you'll find a lot of those lawsuits come in, is the fact that company knew and didn't say anything.
When are we gonna sue the sugar industry?
For what?
Being good. Sugar is good. I love sugar. But sugar companies out there, they have to know that they're making our asses fat. Or is it that we do that to ourselves?
But all right, let's wrap up this segment.
Well, I wasn't done yet. But okay, fine. I guess we're done.
Well, you were talking about sugar, and I'm out of tea.
Wow.
And I need, sugar from the tea.
Fine. We'll just
This is our new timer for our segments, is how long my beverage lasts. One segment lasts one beverage. Did you see my new cup? Isn't this awesome?
Well, bring it closer so people can see what the actual design is. Okay, there you go. It's pumpkins.
Pumpkins, yes.
All right, now back up. You're scaring people.
There we go.
But anyway, so these are things that I was going to ask though. When it comes to DNRs and living wills and everything else, is that something you can do yourself, or do you have to go to an attorney to have that thing done?
It is absolutely something that you can do yourself. It is. I would.
Is it
caution,
legally and enforceable if you do it yourself?
Yes, it actually is, and there are
you have to have them certified.
The caveat to that being, if you don't go through a lawyer, you don't have it notarized and all that, people can challenge it.
Well, they can challenge it anyways.
That's true. That's true. They can.
My uncle challenged my grandfather's will, and he actually won. So.
Well, and there's circumstances where if you're like, hey, they had dementia when this was signed.
No, he didn't have dementia. No, his wife murdered him.
That'll do it.
But he had a will, and he mysteriously died at home. But he left him a lot of money. He left him a home, and it wasn't enough for my uncle. And he ended up suing the estate and ended up getting a hell of a lot more.
Damn.
It wasn't enough for him. And we're like, oh, wow, you didn't even come and see him the last 3 years that he was alive. Because, well, I was there every day. So I'm like, I never saw your ugly ass. But yeah, but it's enforceable if you do it yourself.
It is, but it's easy to be challenged. There are websites that will that are operated by legal firms that will walk you through the process of putting these things together, these documents together, and because everything's going to vary from country to country, from state to state. So we would provide links, but again, with so much variance globally and even in individual countries, it's best to find something for your individual circumstance in your state, town, country. But there are all over the place. There are websites that are operated by legal professionals that will give you free advice on how to put these documents together. And they will let you know whether or not in your state, your country, they have to be notarized or whatever the version of that is there, where they have to be filed and all that. So they will walk you through the individual process for your particular area.
So if something has to be filed, then it would be on record. So you wouldn't have to carry it with you, would you?
You should still carry it with you because you might not always be there, right? If you live in France and you snuff it in the U.S.
I wanted to add along that lines though. At most office supply stores like Staples, Home Office or whatever, there's several different office supply stores depending on where you are in the United States. I don't know about internationally, but they have basic forms that you can, for doing medical, decisions and power of attorney papers. You basically fill in the blanks, and they come with a full set of instructions and where to call if you do decide to go that route to fill out something like that. You call them and say, hey, what's the laws in my state? What do I need to do for here? If it has to be notarized, they do it. So it has to be filed with the court, or whatever the situation is. But they do have easy to fill out forms like that. Again, let people know you have it, even if you're single and you live alone. Make sure that people know. You tell someone you trust. Hey, look, I have a living will. I have a DNR or whatever, and just in case something ever happens to me, this is where it is. I'm going to the grocery store now, so I'm not taking all my paperwork with me, or whatever. You get my point, though.
Yeah.
That I don't know necessarily if it's the best idea to carry something like that with you at all times or a copy of it, but just let somebody know who's not going to be with you on that excursion to the grocery store that you do have these things, and they know where to find them in your home. Oh, it's in my safe, or it's in my top drawer of my dresser, or whatever it might be. But just let them know. And if you want to leave money to your cats or dogs, I suggest you add that in there, because I'm going to take care of my kitty. So. All right. Well, I guess that we finally have come to the end. Now we've come to the end.
All right.
Now, next week, are we going to have a podcast next week?
No. Next week is Halloween weekend. We're going to be...
Is it?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Or is tomorrow Halloween? Because today's the 24th.
Halloween's on the 31st. Why do you do this to me? He always does this to me. I'm like, next weekend is Halloween. Wait, no, is it? Where am I? When am
There's
I?
something
Who
that's
am I?
There's a holiday on the 25th.
It's Christmas.
Oh, that's coming up too. Well, next Sunday though, I have surgery on Friday, and I don't know if I'm going to be.
Oh yeah, but Halloween's much more important than your surgery.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you, Lumber. Thank you. Yeah.
Anyways, no podcast next weekend. I hope everybody has a great holiday.
Well, unless she wants to do one by herself, she
I
could.
could do one all by myself.
I mean, she's a lot more interested in me.
No.
Yeah.
I have better T-shirts.
Black Rifle Coffee Company. Well, what does yours say? This is my happy place in front of a computer. Mine is a Sasquatch with tactical gear on and a subcompact, fully automatic rifle. Mine is pointing at you, and your little gamer's not gonna live.
My T-shirt's much better than yours. Yeah. All right. Bye, everybody. Hope you have a great weekend.
Bye.